Well, that's not very nice. The biggest tournament since the Australian Open about to get underway. I'm going to try and do predictions again. And now, at the Australian Open, look, it wasn't the best start to the year. It was a little bit random. I mean, on the women's side, everybody lost. And who would have picked Yastrzemski to do anything? I mean, that wasn't my fault. That was. But we're starting with the Masters 1000 at Indian Wells, and I'm going to redeem myself.
It's my week.
I reckon Gauff's going to do better than Rybakina this year. I just feel like Rybakina's got the pressure of having to defend the title, but also I think Gauff has a better draw as well. Should be able to manage the first few rounds, and it's only going to get really tough when she makes the quarterfinals and onwards. And I think Rybakina, she might have a little bit of an upset, and she is coming off an injury, so I'm going to go with Gauff. Now, this is a tricky one, but I'm going to go with Vilch on the men's side. He played really well in the qualies, and also being a slower hard court, I reckon that might help him at Indian Wells, because he's kind of a clay court guy. And on the women's side, I'm going to go with Pera. When you're picking qualifiers, you just never know who's going to do well, so I'm going to pick her on the women's side. Now, there's about 2 or 3 countries I could have picked, but there's a lot of withdrawals coming out of the Czech Republic, so I'm going to go with the USA to have the best tournament. I just think that being the locals and also having players like Gauff, Pegula at the top of the game is really going to help them. And Fritz also being a defending champion, I reckon USA are going to get the most amount of wins this tournament. Now, aces are hard to come by at Indian Wells. It is a slow hard court, but I'm going to go with Rybakina for the women. She's one of the best servers in the planet, and I'm going to go with Hurkacz on the men's side. No surprise there, but it is hard to hit aces, and I feel like those two players hit aces all the time. All right, the big one, Djokovic-Sinner. Who's going to do better? I'm going to go with Djokovic in this one. I reckon Djokovic, if they play in the final, beats him. And I just think Nole, having not played here for a long time, I think he wants to come here and win. So I'm going to go with Djokovic over Sinner in this one. And there are a lot of dangerous unseeded players in the men and women's draw for this one, but I've got to go with Pliskova. She's played so well over the last couple of weeks throughout the Middle Eastern swing, and I'm going to go with Mensik. So a little bit of a Czech flavor. I'm going to go with him on the men's side. He played so well in the Middle East, and I reckon that he might be able to have a little bit of a run here as well. Top 10 upsets. Now, this is a tough one because personally, I don't really think we're going to get too many upsets at this event, but I'm going to go with Ons Jabeur, her knee problems. I'm a little bit worried about those, and I'm going to go with Rublev. I don't know why. I just thought after the default last week, maybe he's going to be a little bit all over the place. I'm going to go with him to lose on the men's side early. Dark horse picks. I'm going to go with Dasha. I don't care what anyone says. I'm going to pick Dasha this time. She's made the final here before. She's playing really, really well. She's only lost to some of the players above her in some of the finals that she's played. So I'm going to go with Dasha to have a good run. And I'm going to go with Humbert, which is probably the obvious pick on the men's side. He's been playing so well. He does have Djokovic in his draw, but I'm still going to pick him to at least play Djokovic in that 4th round. All right, the 1-2, we've got Swiatek, we've got Sabalenka. I'm going to go Sabalenka in this one. I think Swiatek's draw is really, really tricky early on. And as we've seen this year, when Swiatek does have a tough draw, it has been a little bit tough for her to get out of it. And also remember, Collins and Noskova were in her way in Australia, and look what happened. So I'm going to go with Sabalenka to go further than Swiatek. My hot take for this one, it might be more of a lukewarm take. I don't reckon we're going to get that many upsets. I think that the top players are going to do well here. And we might only get 2 or 3 upsets over the top 10 for the men and the women. So I don't reckon we're going to have as many upsets as we've been having. And I reckon the top players are going to perform well here. That's my hot take. All right, so one of the toughest parts of these predictions is the semifinals. God, why do I do this? I should just ditch doing this. But on the women's side, I reckon we're going to get Swiatek versus Kalinskaya. And down the bottom, I'm going to pick Gauff versus Sabalenka. Boring, I know, but sometimes you just got to pick the obvious ones to make the semis. On the men's side, I'm going to go with Djokovic versus Medvedev. And at the bottom half of the draw, I'm going to go with Sinner taking on de Minaur. Now, I know Alcaraz is around, but I'm going to go de Minaur, not to beat Alcaraz to get there, but just to outperform Alcaraz. Alcaraz does have that injury worry as well. And the winners for this tournament, again, boring picks. I'm going to go with Sabalenka on the women's side. Made the final here last year. I think she goes one better. I think she just got a nicer draw. And if she does play Gauff, which will be a tough match, I think she can get Gauff and then make the final, win the whole thing. And I'm going to go with Djokovic on the men's side. I think he hasn't lost in America. I don't think he lost in America at all last year. And coming back from not playing this tournament for the last couple of years, I reckon he really wants to win. And I reckon he does in this one. Let me know down in the comments below, though. What are your predictions for Indian Wells? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Let's hope to God that they are better than my other predictions. Please.
Give me more predictions correct. I need this for my reputation and my soul.